Hello everyone, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. My name's Ailey Little and I'm one of the Digital Participation Officers with SCBO. I'm really pleased to welcome you to a second in the series of topical webinars for Connecting Scotland. So these short sessions are to supplement the training that the digital champions get through the programme, and they aim to build on your existing knowledge and to increase your confidence on key areas such as online safety and accessibility. We know that these are really important topics for digital champions, in particular when you're supporting new learners who are very nervous around some of these aspects. But we're really keen to hear your views on what you might like us to cover next. So I will share a short survey with you shortly in the chat pane. You can tell us what other topics or themed areas you would like us to try and create some content to keep helping you on your journey as a digital champion. As part of this series of webinars, we're really lucky to have lots of subject matter experts, and today is no different. So we're joined by Rob Hardman from Get Safe Online, and Rob is an online fraud specialist and a cyber protect advisor. So last week Rob did a session on password safety and device settings and backups, which went down really well. If you missed it, you can catch the replay. It's on SCBO's YouTube channel, and we are going to be popping these session recordings onto the Connect webpage, so keep an eye out for them there. I'll also share a link with the group in the chat pane shortly. As well as today's session, Rob is also going to be doing some future sessions. One is about socialising safely online and online shopping and banking. So do keep an eye out. We're going to be in touch with you all about how to sign up for those sessions. And today, Rob is going to be covering the topic of social engineering. So without further ado, I will hand you over to Rob and he can tell us more.
Thanks very much, Sally. Thank you and welcome everybody. And it's great to be back and presenting to you all. Hopefully you can hear me, so just give us a quick thumbs up so that I know that I'm getting through. Right, that's great. So today we're going to look at social engineering, and I'm going to go through a few slides like I did last time. It just makes it a little bit easier to get some of the messages across and for you to read and understand where I'm coming from. We've also got some videos in here, so hopefully we'll be able to listen and see some different sort of experiences in terms of that. And like Elliot said, the Slido session is going to be one of the first things that we'll do. So without further ado, I'll get my technical wizardry on the go and we will go through the slideshow as we start. So social engineering, and the main theme of some of these sessions are about protecting what matters. So like we said in the last session, once the horse has bolted out of the gate and down the road, it's very difficult to get it back again. So be proactive in what you do in terms of your online presence. So here's the first technical issue. My laptop has stopped working. There's always something. Let me just try again. Apologies.
No worries, Rob. Technology is great when it works. That's what we're right.
Yeah, I don't quite know why that's not happening. Let me just bear with me 1 second.
No worries. While Rob's working that out, by way of, you can use the emojis at the bottom, there's a little reactions part. Who was here last time? Did anybody join us at the last session? You can give a wee wave or a hands up. I can see some, yay, hello. I thought I recognised some faces and some names. So it's great that you can join us, but it shouldn't matter if you didn't see the last session. It's okay that although Rob's building that knowledge bank as we go along, these are the sorts of sessions you can dip in and out of, and hopefully with the recordings it means you can catch up and keep dip in or share with your colleagues and your other digital champions in your network as well. So you all good to go, Rob, you think? We'll try again?
We'll try again. We'll give it a try again. Do apologise. So, okay. There we go. Right, back in the game. Apologies for that. So I'll just give a brief introduction again of myself and for those that weren't there last time, just to give you an understanding of who you're talking to and who's talking to you, more importantly. We'll go through that term. What is social engineering? It's a phrase that's used. Maybe you've heard it, but maybe you don't know exactly what it means. Am I safe? So this is a phrase that I've sort of designed on the basis of my experiences in terms of what you do when you perhaps receive a phone call or an email or something online asking for details. So this is about access to your device. It's covering motivations of why people do things, and that includes you, and identity and the importance of keeping your personal details personal and making sure that you know exactly what your settings are on various things and certainly what information you're putting on the internet. And we'll have a Q&A session as well, so hopefully you'll be able to ask me any questions and we'll go through those. So this is me. So like I said, it'll be brief for those obviously who've seen it before, but for those who haven't, 32 years in law enforcement, worked in Staffordshire Police, in CID for 25 years on criminal investigations, ranging from burglary to robbery to more serious crime, murder and serious sexual offences. But later on in my career, for the last 10 years, I've been investigating fraud, financial crime and cybercrime. And having left the police, I felt that my knowledge and expertise that I'd learned, I wanted to share a bit more widely, and so joined Get Safe Online as an advisor to enable me to do these kind of sessions and inform people like yourselves of sort of experiences that I've found and I got involved in relation to my law and policing background. So I'm a snowboarder, not doing any of that at the moment. I'm a guitarist and I'm unfortunately not playing in my band at the moment because there's no gigs. So I'm going out on my mountain bike instead. However, I might have to wear my coat over these next few days by the looks of the weather. So what we're going to do next is if you can go onto Slido, and this is the hashtag for the code. So you don't have to put any personal details in. All you need to do is just put in www.slido.com and it'll come up and it will ask you for that code. And you put that in and it'll take you to a question. Now on that question, that will relate to what I'm about to show you next. So if you stand by. So I'm going to show you a few screens of an email. Now I want you to consider whether this email is genuine. So take a look and then I'll ask the question about it. So there we go. That's your email. You probably picked it up. You might be running around the kitchen. Kids might be at your feet, might be doing the cooking as well as having a quick scroll on your phone. Might be watching the TV. Who knows what you're doing? You might be in a queue at shopping, something like that perhaps. So there we go. Important, we found a problem with your billing information. You can't get your refund that you've asked for. So let's just see now if we can get Slido up and running. Can you see that? Is that working?
No, Rob, sorry, we can't see it.
You couldn't see that question. Let me go again. There we go. Can you see that? Is that working? There we go. So I've got
see
12 responses there. So is that email genuine or not? Okay. Sorry for flicking in between, but that seems to be the only way that we can do this. So the next one, Apple, your Apple has been locked. Dear customer, your Apple has been locked. Please check and verify your details. Again, like I said, I'll keep it short and sweet between flicking through these. So this will be for the next question. So the Apple one. So if you do it now, if you click onto this, you'll be able to answer this question. It should have come up. There we go. That's good. We've got a few people getting in touch there. 16, 17. So it might be that that was a genuine one there. We'll have to wait and see. So while you're clicking on that one, let's have a look at our next email. Like I say, these emails come in thick and fast, don't they? You don't really know what you're looking at. So here's one I got from PayPal. My account was suspended, so I needed to get further information and log on to PayPal. So let's have a look at the slider. I'll just change the question for that. So here's the PayPal one. So is that the genuine one? Now maybe those are emails that you've seen before. I don't know. It might be that that's the first time you've seen such emails. Now, if we go back and have a look at this, we can see whether we were right or not. So there's been 19 responses on the Amazon email. So 68% said that that wasn't genuine. 16 said that it was. 16 said they didn't know. Well, that's changed. People have changed. So 30% of people believed that that was possibly genuine, and some people didn't know. I'm glad the majority of you thought that I wasn't genuine, because that's correct. It's not genuine. The next one, Apple one, was that genuine? Ah, right. Just under half say that that wasn't genuine, but quite clearly we've got half that think it might have been, or don't know what to do with it, couldn't tell. That was genuine. That was not genuine. That was a fake one as well. PayPal. Higher then, but still 70%, 22% didn't know. There we go, it's gone up. So 26% didn't know, and 11 thought that it was genuine. So that just tells you that there are a number of people now. You might have all crossed over on that. So some might have thought one was, some might have thought one wasn't. But what it does tell you is that the criminal is very, very good at this. Okay, so I always think of a Jack Sparrow and Pirates of the Caribbean phrase here. You can always trust a dishonest man to be dishonest. It's the honest ones you've got to watch. Now, I use that phrase because no criminal is going to portray their real selves online. It's always going to be in the guise of something that is genuine. So that was part of a social engineering experiment. Now, what we also might want to consider is these emails. I phrased that as which are genuine, and that might have tipped you into thinking that one of them was genuine. So I actually did something of a social engineering experiment there myself. So how do we know what's what here? Well, that Apple one, for example, if we look on this screen, here you'll see that I just clicked on the Apple email, just to give me a bit more. You see where it says show less here? Well, there it was just a little bit of it said me, and I can push on it on my phone and it opens up the actual email that it's been sent from, or the type of mail service it's been sent from. So that is not an authentic Apple address, as you can see on there, and so that was not the Apple device. So what is social engineering? Well, there you have it. The clever manipulation of the natural human tendency to trust. So what we see, how we respond to people, how we respond to emails, how we respond to adverts online, we're being cleverly manipulated all the time through our natural tendency to believe what is going on. So this is a video. There's a little bit of swearing at the end, but this is an example of what social engineering is. So you'll see this lady here with the headphones on, and she's going to be in contact with the chap who's at the front. He's going to be in contact with his phone provider. And she uses a really simple but clever technique to get some information out of, in respect of his personal account. So she manipulates the person on the other end of the phone. So we'll just have a watch of this.
So I invited a few of the world's best hackers to try to hack me and show me where my vulnerabilities are. And now I'm going to meet them in Las Vegas for DEF CON, the biggest hacker convention of the year. They're going to hack me using social engineering, which is essentially hacking without any code. They just use a phone and an internet connection.
Do you want to do a sample phishing call?
What's phishing?
Phishing is voice solicitation, and basically what you do is you use the phone to extract information or data points that can be used in a later attack.
Let's do it. Who are you going to call?
Maybe I'll call your cell phone provider and see if I can get them to give me your email address.
I bet they're good. I bet they have my back. But yeah, go for it.
I'm going to spoof from your number, so it's going to look like it's calling from you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay? My baby, I'm sorry. my husband's like, we're about to apply for a loan and we just had a baby and he's like, get this done by today. So I'm so sorry. I can't call you back. I'm trying to log into our account for uses information and I can't remember what email address we used to log the account. The baby's crying and can you help me? Awesome.
In just 30 seconds,
at gmail.com.
Jessica gets access to my personal email address.
Now, if I needed to add our older daughter on our account so she could call in and make changes, how would I need to go about doing that? You would have to send me a secure PIN through a text message? Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to receive a text message if I'm on the phone. Oh, I'm not on there either? So I thought when we got married, he added me to the account.
Jess uses my girlfriend's name and a fake social security number
5127
to set up her own personal access to my account.
Wait, I'm sorry, so there's no password on my account right now? Can I set that up?
She even gets the support person to change my password.
Thank you so much for your help today.
So she just basically blocked me out of my own account.
I'll get her fed after this. All right, thank you.
Holy shit. So they just gave you access to my entire cell phone account.
You're gonna have to go on and change your password now because it's Jess, my name.
And all it took was a crying baby and a phone call.
Yes.
So there we are. That's quite an interesting. If I just stop that and just talk to you a second. So that's quite an interesting video there, really. And so that gives an example of someone, and you can see how much in character she is. She actually got into role and she really performed that. And that's what criminals do. And they're very, very adept at doing that and manipulating people both online and over the phone. So this is why when it comes to being safe online, criminals, they do operate with stealth, subtlety and social awareness. They know what's going on in terms of how to manipulate you and your behavior. And they may have done considerable research on their victim to manipulate that behavior by researching them online, or it might be that they've gained access from a larger data breach. Now, what that means is that once someone has got something from a larger data breach, that then enables them to gain confidence, gains your confidence, because they have your name, they might have your date of birth, but you don't give any of that information away, and certainly you don't interact with them. But what do they do with that? It enables their narrative. So really think about that. What was the narrative on those emails? When I talk about narrative, it's like a story. What is it that they're telling, that they're using to try and grip you? So we had on those emails, my refund wasn't going to go through. My Apple account had been suspended. My PayPal account wasn't going to operate. And here's a few other examples. An urgent bank transfer, or perhaps an email if someone's being employed as in a company and they've been asked to transfer money, or an email that you receive from a family member to click on a link, for instance, or it's in response to a COVID-19 refund offer, or a grant, or something of that nature. Or it's quite simply something on Facebook for you to fill in your personal details on a prize draw, so that you are actually then taking part in a prize draw when really you've just filled in all of your details for someone online to use later. That's called harvesting. So what do they seek to do? Well, they're seeking to influence your next action. This is the really important part. So stop and ask yourself the question, am I safe in what I'm about to do? And just by putting that pause in at that particular point, combats your immediate response. So when I talk about an immediate response, that's the impulse. Shall I click on this link? Shall I, my account's blocked. I get my phone, I'm pressing update. I've got some transactions that are going through on PayPal today. I've got to get it done. So not only is it about their narrative and their motivation, it's also what are they seeking? So they're seeking the access, potentially, to your device through clicking a spurious link. What we covered last week talked about that. It also covers access to your data, or access to your accounts, or access to your finances. So it's that open door there. What might my action now trigger? It's also motivation. What's the motivation behind my response? Why am I responding? Why are they asking me to respond? What are they trying to get at? And also identity. So, am I safe? Covers each of these areas. Am I giving too much about my identity away? So asking that simple question just puts a pause in your next step, in your next action, that is vitally important, because once you take that next action, you're responding to their narrative, and as soon as you do that, then you fall foul. So we talked about access. So this might be something that actually just pops up on your device. Is your device operating slowly, or which is called computer service software fraud, and people actually ring up or actually do it over, or gain access to your pop-up that comes up on your screen that you click onto, and that is basically asking you to give access to your device to a third party, who is unknown to you. So it's absolutely vital that you don't respond to cold calls or unsolicited requests for access to your device. So never allow anyone remote access to your computer. If you're having computer issues, contact the retailer who you purchased it from regarding service and repair. And if you've had issues with your internet speed, for instance, contact your provider. Don't let a third party get through on an unsolicited email or phone call and give access to your device, because they can then get access to your data. They might be able to put in software or malicious software onto your computer that tracks your keystrokes, which means that they harness all of your email and banking passwords and usernames that then gives access to your finances and can also give access to your identity. So really important to think about who you're giving access to, and certainly don't ever respond to an unsolicited request for access, whether that be over the phone or whether it be actually on a pop-up on your device. So that's the A part of Am I Safe? So the M then, motivation. So what are your drivers to respond? So what's making you respond to that email from PayPal? You've got things that you want to pay for, quite clearly. Or there was that one from Amazon, wasn't there? That was about getting a refund. And we buy so much stuff off Amazon these days that you might not know whether you've got a refund or not. So they're just trying their luck. And it might be that you have and they succeed. But ultimately, there are other drivers. Fear is one. Sets about panic. You might just be curious about a particular email or a particular link. You know, it might be a subject matter that you're particularly interested in. If someone sent a link for, here's the photos of Harry and Meghan on their latest trip or whatever it might be, and you think, oh, that's interesting. So these are what are your drivers to respond. Another one is excitement. Suddenly you get taken by the excitement of wanting to win £1 million or be put into a prize draw for a dream holiday. And it might be then that suddenly sparks in your mind, and that is then your narrative. So the other element, well, what is their narrative and what are the consequences that you imagine? So this really does start the ball rolling. So for instance, if we were talking about the holiday, for example, or the winning of £1 million, and that comes through you see it on a Facebook scroll, you click on the link and you start to fill it in, and then because in your mind you are thinking that you are going to actually win, or you're actually going to get the refund, or you're actually going to get access to your device again. And these are the drivers that are there for you to respond. So they push your buttons to get you to react in a certain way. And it's a very, very clever way of manipulating your behavior to do something differently that you might not ordinarily do. So this is why I'm saying about stopping at that particular point. So if we can just reiterate that, I've known from my experience in dealing with people who have, we'll talk about socializing next time, we'll talk about online dating in a little bit more detail, but this is a prime example. People join sort of online dating sites, their motivation being to find a companion, find love online. They get a response and they go with that response because of their actual narrative. Now, it might well be that the criminal is hooking them in with a completely fake profile. And that is then suddenly, it creates a whole fantasy. And that's what I'm trying to get out there. Even these simple things can start to create in your own head a fantasy that you then go for. How many people are in the lot? How many people play the lottery? Just put a thumbs up. Buy a ticket for the lottery every week. I do. I get a ticket. I joined the lottery at when it first came out in 1998 at a group at work. I'm still in it. So why am I still in it? Why am I still paying my £2? Because somewhere in my head I'm thinking, well, if I don't stay in that group, they're going to win and I'm going to be out of pocket. That's number one. Number two, oh, actually, I think that, I'm in with a chance of winning. Yeah, at 14 million or 20 million to 1. But that seed is still in my head. And can I come out? No, not really. Yes, the money's going for good causes. But you put that into a context of a criminal manipulating you. As soon as that seed is planted, you respond and you go for it. So this is why this element of just stopping and pausing. You've got all the time in the world. It's your email account. It's your PayPal account. It's your device. You are in charge, not them. They want to get you to follow the hook, and so that's why it's better just to say, am I safe? So think about your drivers, why you're responding. You might be, certainly a lot of people do respond to this knee-jerk panic. A HMRC tax bill, for instance. Tax bill's outstanding, 3.5 grand, got to pay it now, otherwise the bailiffs are coming around. Panic. So always stop, come away and go via another route to whoever is making the request. So in terms of those emails, for instance, go back to PayPal through a different account, rather than following their link, through a different link on your own device. Come out, log into your account, have a look. No, my account is still working fine. Well, I've got one over on you criminals. I did my checking, I stopped and I checked and I'm okay. So put that email into the spam folder, and then your device will recognize that email as spam and continue to put them in there, and you won't be bothered with them anymore. So then the other element was I for motivation. Sorry, before we move on. So why did they do it? Well, yeah, money is the big one, and they make a lot of it. Financial gain for themselves, they can cause financial loss. Other people do a lot of hacking for kudos and bragging rights. As I've seen some people doing it for revenge or damaging company reputations or even individual reputations. And then we've got people who do this kind of activity as part of activism to try and destabilize various things. So these are the motivations from the criminal. Having said that, this is a primary one, and there are many ways of making money. They can make money out of your identity because they can sell it. So it's not always your money that's being stolen potentially, but money is being made by harvesting information. So I'm going to talk about your personal information now under the I of Am I Safe? So this video is another one of those videos that's quite entertaining, but it does drive home a particular message. So let's just take a look at this one.
Oh, hi, can I help?
hot chocolate.
What's the name?
Joelle.
What was the name?
Alex.
Alex. There you go, Johnny.
Cheers.
If you like our Facebook page, we give you a free hot drink and a free pastry.
We have a new like for Damien. We have a new like for Damien. Hey, Carly, are you standing by?
Standing by. Hi there, can I help?
Yeah, I just liked your Facebook page.
Okay, I'll search Facebook now.
I'm searching Google.
Have a phone number.
I've got his email address.
Okay, Carly, are you ready for information on Damien?
Yep, I am.
Mother's maiden name is he banks with.
Hey Carly, this is the girl coming in now with the blue scarf.
What's her name? Nicholas.
Nicholas. His date of birth, 7th May. She lives at 38A.
Just be a couple of seconds.
2 children at age 4 and 6. Previous address. She's got postcode.
Yep, got it. Damien, age 26 and a fitness instructor.
How do you know that?
Brody goes to UCL. Martin went to South Thames College. Assistant psychologist at Great Ormond Street.
That is... I don't understand.
Oh, better?
You know I'm a Christian as well.
Oh, yeah, we know everything about you, Martin. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Anna from Russia.
So that was a good video there, but it just shows what amount of information is out there. So check your privacy settings. Make sure that you're only sharing information with the people that you trust. So certainly on Facebook, lock that down. Go into settings, be proactive about it. Go in, have a look, and you might find that it's all publicly available. You have public, you have associates of friends, friends of friends, you have friends only, so those are the people who are friends on Facebook, or only me. And I've seen people's information, and I've gone in to friends of mine, and
Oh, I think we might have a screen freeze from Rob End. Rob, are you there?
hello, I'm back again.
Hi. Hello.
Sorry, for how long was I out?
Literally seconds.
All right, okay.
Sorry.
So I was just talking about your settings. So just make sure that you've locked that down and you only share as much information as you want to share, preferably as little as possible. But it just shows you that we're very happy to share that kind of information. So be proactive about it. So when I ask the question, am I safe? I mean that as well about what you're doing with your information. Because if you're posting a lot of personal information, well, all that is really handy to the criminal, because they will be able to manipulate that and be able to use that to their advantage. The other one is harvesting. So online quizzes, well, lockdown, we've seen a lot of those. People got bored, didn't they? And so they started doing a lot of different things on Facebook about what's your favorite this, what's your favorite that, what's your favorite the other. And before you know it, within there, you're able to identify so much more information about people that they're harvesting huge amounts of data. And within it, I actually saw one where it said your mother's maiden name, your year of birth, and all of this. So what happens to that information? Well, that can then go to clone your identity. Some people call that identity theft. They're not actually stealing anything necessarily, unless they've actually rifled through your bins. Most of it is actually acquired through the methods that I've talked about. But what they can do then, as soon as they've got that data, they can fill in credit applications, mobile phone contracts, and such like. And before you know it, you've got debt in your name that you didn't know about. So be proactive and monitor credit scores and credit histories. A third of victims of of identity crime were easily found on surface web data, and 65% of victims posted a lot of information on social media. So it's quite clear that that is a risk. So these are a couple of websites where you can do that proactivity. Experian, Credit Karma, or Money Supermarket enables a few options in relation to credit monitoring. But do check the credit history, because it's vitally important, because you see a credit application in your name that you didn't make, you know then that there's been a breach of your personal information, and you need to take proactive steps to reclaim that. There was a news article on BBC of an individual who took 3 months to claim back her identity. She said, I had my Instagram identity stolen. And that was primarily access to her account. She clicked on a link, her Instagram account was hacked, and one, all the information taken from it, but two, they had just completely brought her Instagram account to a halt, which is what she used for work. So there is definite benefit in being proactive on this. So this is another video about identity theft prevention. It's a little bit Americanized, apologies for that, but the main essence of it is very well put across, which is what I wanted to do. So we'll just have a quick watch of this before we go on.
Identity theft is one of the most pervasive crimes of the 21st century. Every 2 seconds, another person becomes a victim of identity theft, with over $16 billion stolen from 12.7 million U.S. consumers just last year. Your identity and personal financial information are always at risk when using your ATM card, whether at a store, gas station, over the phone, or online. Identity thieves can place credit card skimming and PIN capturing devices on ATM card readers. And if you use your debit card, your bank account information could become exposed and your hard-earned money stolen as a result. Use a credit card instead, whenever possible, to limit your liability and risk. If you ever use public Wi-Fi hotspots at fast food restaurants or coffee shops, look out for fake Wi-Fi spots called honey spots set up by hackers. They can steal your sensitive and personal information, open credit card and loan accounts in your name, and stick you with the debt. Use internet security software to protect your sensitive data when using public Wi-Fi. Ever lost your wallet or had your computer hacked into? If your social security number becomes compromised, identity thieves can file fraudulent tax returns in your name and steal your money. Never, ever give out your social security number to anyone other than a party you highly trust. ID theft crime does not always have to be high-tech. Did you know 30% of identity theft victims are scammed by family members and close friends? The high level of access to sensitive information that perpetrators have is the key in these crimes. Open a phishing email, visit questionable websites, give out your sensitive information online. All of these could compromise your personal data. While it may not always be possible to stop all identity theft 100% of the time, you should do the best you can to protect yourself and safeguard your identity.
So just before we go on to the jargon buster, a few minutes left. So just to reiterate then, what am I saying in this presentation about social engineering? Criminals are skillful at it. They can do their research and research a lot of information online to make you feel comfortable and confident in what you're about to do. And two, they make you act quickly, in an instant, in either panic or even in excitement. Either way, you can respond like that. So my advice is, before you take that step, is just pause, think, well, hang on, yeah, it's HMRC request. Remember what Rob said, just stop, let me think about it. So am I safe? Am I giving anyone access to my information, to my computer, or to my device? What is my motivation? What is their motivation? If I'm careful on this, I will understand what their motivation is because I'll be able to see through it. So those emails, they're trying to get me to click on that link. That's what they're trying to do there, or fill in my personal details. So I'm now alert to their narrative. So my motivation for doing it is protecting my PayPal account, for instance. Well, I'll go and check that myself. So motivation. Thirdly, identity. Am I giving away too much information? Am I being requested for my information that I wouldn't normally give away? Certainly what happens is all this social engineering is there to manipulate you to do a certain thing. What you need to do is take back control and say, I'm in charge of what I do next. And no, I'm not going to open that link. I'm going to go and check it through a verified source. No, I'm not going to respond to the pop-up that's come on my screen, or even a phone call to say, are you having trouble with your computer? It's Sky. I had a phone call the other day actually from Sky about my internet connection. I haven't got an internet connection with Sky, but I wanted to find out more about what the scam was about. So I basically held them on the line for a while and ran the ruse myself because I knew who they were. And so I played a little bit of the game. I would advise you to do that. And what they were trying to do was to get me to connect to my computer and give them access to it to enable them to drop multiple bits of software or malicious software onto my device. So if we just come to finish it off, the Jargon buster that we were looking at last time. So unbeknownst to you, we've actually covered this: water holding, fake websites to get in compromised detail, phishing, untargeted mass media emails. So some of those emails that I talked about at the very beginning were phishing. Some may well have been spear phishing. That's a bit more technical in as much as, or a bit more targeted in as much as they're using a particular email or targeting a particular individual. So that's spear phishing. Phishing is general, and you actually heard the word vishing today, which was voice solicitation, which is what that lady did on the phone to manipulate that telephone operator at the other end. And social engineering, that's what we've looked at today. Whaling, well, whaling is about high level, a CEO level, or people in a company who really get attacked because they have got some serious access to some serious data. So whaling is about going after the really big fish, whereas we kind of fall into this category here. So we talked about some COVID threats, and they're still around, and they are some of those emails, fake government emails asking for or offering grants, getting your personal information, COVID relief funds, getting personal information, council tax, accessing personal information, universal credit, asking for advance payment for services, test and traced, phishing emails. So these start to make more sense now. Fake emails from TV licensing, had another one of those, and online subscription, which is what we talked about. So those are the two sets of resources. Get Safe Online, please visit that website. Huge amounts of information on there to help you protect yourself and your families. If you do feel that you've been a victim of a crime, report it to Police Scotland or contact 101. So I think without further ado, I think it's on to some questions for our last few minutes, but I do hope you find that useful. And remember, ask that question, am I safe, before you carry on doing whatever you were going to do. So thanks very
Rob.
much.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. That was lots of really useful information. if anyone has any questions, you're more than welcome to raise your hand or pop it into the chat pane. I know John has popped a question in there, and it's mainly, I'm guessing this is more framed that I'm not a victim of it, as in I haven't fallen for it, but who should I contact if you find this type of stuff? So if you're getting an Amazon fake email or a PayPal email, who should we report it to?
So you can, I mean, in England and Wales, there's Action Fraud as a main reporting mechanism that collates a lot of it. I don't know whether Police Scotland are actually collating those kind of attempts, which is what they are. It is a criminal attempt because they are trying to get you to do the next step in terms of a fraud. So if you, first things first, don't open them, put them into your spam. If you get in persistent ones, or you see a particularly unique one or something that looks a little bit different and you wish to report it, then go through to Police Scotland, to their website, and they may well be able to collate that kind of information. Alternatively, through your own Amazon account, notify Amazon, but ultimately they are aware of a lot of these, and criminals are just using various ways to mimic them.
Thanks. So Anne's popped a question in saying, what about sites that allow you to create an account or sign in using your Facebook account? So you might be already signed into Facebook, and then you go into something and it allows you to essentially skip the kind of sign up process because you're already logged in with your Facebook and it can just use that account. Do you have any advice around that?
Yeah, I would. What I tend to do if I'm redirected to something else, open it up in a separate browser, because it gives you an opportunity to have a look at a bit more detail as to what the requests are. If you're going from one account to another, you don't quite know where you're going, and you don't quite know what data you're transferring to that particular site. So I think it's clicking on links can suddenly send you down a rabbit warren without you knowing about it. So I just always be cautious about, if you wanted to go into another site, or always open another browser, open a new window, so you don't necessarily continually opening up things with the same account, because you don't quite know where it's taking you, if that makes sense.
Thanks for that, Rob. And I know we've just posted the link where you can, if anyone would like to report anything in terms of any scams that they're coming across, or if someone you're supporting has been a victim, there's a cybercrime department with Police Scotland that you can touch base with. And I also shared a link previously to Trading Standards Scotland. Also have a really good sort of fortnightly e-bulletin that goes round with all the latest up-to-date scams, including some that are centred around social engineering. And I know obviously Get Safe Online itself, Rob, is a really great resource for some of the latest what's going on, given the resources and who the wider network of banks and police forces and other retailers that you guys work with. Were there any more questions from anyone else? I'm conscious it's coming up for midday and we're careering towards lunchtime. Are we all good? Great. Okay. If there are any questions that you have after that you think of once we end the session, please do get in touch with the team, and I'm sure we can coordinate those to Rob, or we can try and address them ourselves. So it's just to say thank you very much to Rob for sharing all that, lots of great information, and to everyone for taking part. We'll obviously share the recording of this in a few days, and we have the further sessions coming up, the one about socialising safely online, and about online banking and shopping, which we know are important to all of us generally, but in particular to anyone who's suddenly becoming familiar with being online and wanting to navigate that whole world, that you as digital champions will be supporting. We'll follow up with another e-bulletin to all our digital champions with all the links to sign up to that, and with further information generally about other opportunities and learning opportunities that we have through the programme. So thank you very much again, Rob, and thanks very much everybody. Take care, have a really good day.
Thanks very much, everybody. Take care.